What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about another family comedy today. Today we're going to be actually looking at an old Steve Martin film. It's called Bilko. Yeah, I used to call it Sergeant.Bilko when I was younger for a while, but yeah. It's released by Image Entertainment, March 29th, 1996. And it stars Steve Martin, who's written by Andy Beckerman, produced by Brian Grazer, and directed by Jonathan Lynn, who has also done other popular comedies like My Cousin Vinny, Wild Target, Nuns on the Run, and Clue, to name a few of them. This had a box office earnings of $38 million, and at the time it was considered a disappointment. But it was like studio executives and stuff were having trouble trying to figure out why that was, because you had Dan Aykroyd from Ghostbusters, you obviously have Steve Martin in the starring role, you even have an up and coming Chris Rock as a side character. Sergeant.Bilko. Sergeant.Bilko is a military sergeant leading on one of the weirdest and most incompetent military platoons in the military, and this is a comedy of him trying to get his men acting right as they go off to war, and things don't go as planned. It's pretty quirky and slapstick and stuff. So there is a lot of slapstick humor in this, but depending on how you look at it, either some of them sometimes somewhat stick, some of them just don't work at all, the jokes. And I think that's where this film mainly lacks. Like, you can have all the star power in the world, but if it's not written well enough for comedy's always like a really close line to either being really good or absolutely terrible. There's not very much in between in this style of film, and they're always walking that line. So this one sort of falls on the not so good line. It's sort of it has some amusing scenes in it and stuff, and the story is okay, but it's based on an old TV show, like 20-minute show from like the 50s or 60s. And so basically what they did is they took like an episode of that and just expanded it to be a full hour and a half long film, which doesn't really work too well. A lot of the jokes, you can tell, are just filler jokes to pad the runtime. And even with all the star power and stuff, Dan Aykroyd's amusing in some scenes, but is sort of just like stuck with like not so good material to work with, and he does his best he can, but his character and stuff is a little bit off. Steve Martin, he's always a funny guy and stuff, and even in this, like, you can tell some of the jokes and stuff weren't well executed or well written, so you can see them like sort of like fumble with the material and do the best they could with it, but it still doesn't work out. Chris Rock's character actually has like the most like jokes that might not actually work in this film, but even though he's just a small side character, he can't carry the whole film. So there's that aspect, at least a little bit better aspect. But but I love the way it was shot. And the music and stuff like that works somewhat well in a comedy setting, so I have enjoyed that. This one's sort of like a middle of the road, where like half of it's funny, but half is just like boring filler. And when you get near the end, where they have like a tank, there's some terrible CG in this film. It's even bad for 1996. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it looks really dated today. So it looks like something out of an 80s movie, even though this one came out in 1996. So it's your typical military story, comedy direction, which they somehow did not work well it didn't work well for them to make a comedy based in that setting. They seem sort of out of their element a bit. Whether it's the writing, I don't think it was really the acting. Everyone tries to give them their all, but you can sort of tell some people are more into it than others. And so I think that's why it's somewhat of has like a bad rep. But I still thought some parts of it was amusing and some parts just didn't work. So I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 5. Just put it right down the middle, because it's either going to work for some people and it's not going to work for others. So it's your guess is as good as mine. So yeah, there's a trailer link down below if it sounds like something you might be interested in, or if you want to relive it or whatnot. It's the trailer's linked down below like always. Also linked down below is my Instagram. That's where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future. All my stories have the film down hashtag, the subgenre film and hashtag, so you're aware of it. And my Letterbox is also down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the film. So yeah, follow me on one of those 2 platforms to stay in the loop with this channel. Like this video to smart people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below. Let me know your thoughts of it. And if you have any films, whether it's comedy, horror, whatever genre, and you want to hear my opinions on, comment those down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And if you have film franchises, you can comment those down below too. Yeah, so make sure you also subscribe. So if you find something weird, obscure, and all that you never thought of checking out, somewhat like this film, or so you hear my opinions on popular and classic films and other shows and other reviews on other things as well. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you ring that bell and tune in next time, because we're going to be continuing on with another 90s family comedy called Ghost Dad. It's a depressing title, but hopefully it's a little better than this one. This one just was mediocre, to say the least. It's definitely not the worst. I still think Hook and Dagon the Wizard worse than these ones, but that's just me. So yeah, make sure you check out SGT.Bilko if you find it interesting. Watch out for all those crazy, quirky lieutenants out there leading our armies, and I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So until then, cheers.